Evening all, welcome to Fitting Dust. I haven't done this for a while. What we're going to look at today is some of the FLAY fits. I know people kind of ask me, well, not FLAY scout fits rather. I think people kind of, are interested in what I'm running, and basically, again, nothing's really changed. It's just an addition of things like the FLUX grenades, obviously makes the benefit, but this is the basic fit. It's kinetic catalyzers and shield extenders, but they're all complex, so it's pretty, high tier stuff. I think the basic suit without the FLAY is around 80k, and then you add your cost if you're going on to that. So, it's relatively reasonable. And to be honest, I know people kind of, smile at the fact that I only run Scout Suit. I don't always run Flaylock, as you're hopefully seeing. The videos will obviously give you a skewed picture of what I play, don't forget that. I think I probably run Flaylock maybe 50% of the time, but I'm trying to get more into mass driver, laser rifle, things like that. Hopefully from the last video you just saw, the laser rifle I do have an affinity with. I wish they were better. As you can see here, this is my new tactic. I'm kind of laying in wait for someone to go and hack stuff and then kill them, and then I got that timed completely wrong, but I killed him anyway. I do quite enjoy this whole thing. I mean, I'm running Nova knives. You're going to start seeing a lot more Nova knife footage, basically. I do like everything about Nova knives. I think they have a real kind of amusing bit to them. If you've watched any of my Lone Wolf videos, it's like, a compilation of me failing to music using the shotgun, and I think I'm going to switch that up to using Nova knives only, so quite a challenge, I'm sure you'll agree. I always generally run I run the same suit constantly. It's the basic frame, level, well, obviously level 5. I think it's just because I get used to the buffer, and I get used to the speed. I think, to be honest, I could do without the shield if I had to, but the speed is of essence, basically, my whole game. I try and run with some heavy suits, and I try and run with normal suits, and they're okay. I mean, people were telling me, oh, do dual wield Flaylock with the medium suit because you get blah 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 blah, and I was like, okay, give it a go, and it's good, it's fun, I enjoyed it, but it just didn't run as fast. I love this feeling of stalking and running fast, and charging people like that, and then dodging left and right. I enjoy that, and I think, to me, that's kind of the reason I play Dust, is that kind of gameplay. I love the kind of fast moving, agile suits. I don't mind that I die a lot. I mean, I think my KD ratio represents, that I do die quite a bit. But again, I think it's just part and parcel of playing a suit which has only got about 420 hit points. I mean, that's still quite good, but it's not a lot. I think it just comes down to what you enjoy playing. I know people seem to think I've got it out for the Caldari Logi. I actually wouldn't change the Caldari Logi. I think now, sort of having good conversations with people who run them, I think maybe it just, we need to maybe just make it so that it's a bit more balanced, perhaps. But I don't think there's a big problem with it. Maybe just buff some of the other suits. Maybe just make everything relatively similar. And then it's like Eve. In Eve, all of the ships are different for the races in terms of their model, but in reality, they're very similar. I mean, there are some exceptions to this, but it's kind of all the same. And I think, to be honest, there's always going to be fits of the month. I think fit of the month at the moment. Oh, you see that? I'm a noob. I think fit of the month at the moment is looking like Scrambler Rifle and a Mars suit. I'm told this is because all of the modified controller people who are using TAC ARs with their insta-spam left mouse button, or whatever it may be, are now using Scrambler Rifle with the same thing. Don't know how it works, could be a load of bollocks, but that's what I'm being told. And you do kind of see this because there is a proliferation, perhaps, of Scrambler Rifles and other such stuff. But anyway, I think, again, is the game broken? Far from it. It's a very enjoyable game at the moment. I think you do get the odd, frustration, perhaps. But again, it's not game mechanic frustration. It's usually the other team brings two top tier tanks, and if you don't have, we got our arses handed to us yesterday because we just didn't have tankers on our team, and they had two incredibly good tankers. So that sometimes you just have to you have to literally grin and bear it and take it, because like a prostitute in the 1930s, you just have to smile and and think of the money at the end, because to be honest, sometimes you can't, you're not always going to win every match, and that's quite a funny thing. I think that kind of leads me on nicely to my next topic. But before I do, look at this. Look at me get the red mist at this tank. This was a similar thing. This tank was pretty much taking us down. So props to this dude. Very good tanker. I was actually trying to pistol. Yes, that is me actually trying to pistol whip him to death. That was the rage I get in this game. And I think that's beautiful. I love that that's even a possibility in this game. I mean, to be honest, you can we've had instances where we've actually flay locked a tank to death because he's got to the last few ebbs on his armor, and we've just had like two or three people with a flay lock, and we've shot him. And I think, to be honest, that's the beauty of this game at times. It does become very amusing. But anyway, I would say at the moment, is the game feeling very nice and good? Absolutely it is. I honestly do feel that. I think there's not really a great deal that feels terribly OP or broken or buggy. I would say this is becoming, and again, I know a lot of people hate to hear this, but I think this is becoming quite a highly polished product. Still a long way to go though. That's the beauty of this game, is the journey is only just starting. So I think, if you maybe are watching the videos but you don't play the game, come back in, try it for a few rounds, maybe just log on, come squad and let's play some games, and I think you'll probably be quite pleased. A few things maybe will annoy you. I mean, I think a lot of people have really gone to town on the scout suit nerf. I disagree entirely. The scout suit is feeling perfectly fine. It just feels different. It's almost like somebody when they adjust your seat in a car, but you can't adjust it back. After a while, you forget that it's been adjusted. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest, that's how this feels. They just changed it so you strafe very quickly, but you don't run as fast. It didn't feel as maybe dynamic. But that's a good thing, because again, the scout suit was a bit too good. And I think their change, their tweak, which is only a minor tweak, I think has been a very good thing. Because again, I'm dying a little bit more, but I think it's it's fairer. I suspect that the same thing needs to happen to the flay lock, because again, to me it does feel a little bit OP. I'm not going to troll anymore. It does feel a bit OP. But again, it just needs that minor tweak, because the core concept, did you get what I did there? The core concept of the flay lock is a nice idea. This kind of, Minmatar. If you don't know the Minmatar race, for me, if you're not familiar with their lore, quote, this is very typical of them. It's all very much, rusty piles of shit that just do astronomically powerful projectile damage. And I think, this is, we would call this glass cannons. They're just really, my scout suit is a great example of what we would term a glass cannon fit, because effectively it's just all damage, speed, no tank at all, really. And I think that's kind of the way we run, is because it's all about getting in, doing the damage, getting out. And we used to have a lot of these kind of styles of ships in EVE, and I think this is where I think that transfers nicely. So I wouldn't be too sort of I wouldn't be too surprised if the Flaylock does get some changes, but again, I don't expect it to be slammed hard with the nerf bat, nor would I, like the TAC AR perhaps, maybe they just adjusted it to be a bit more relevant to the role it was in, which is more long range. It wasn't really designed to do short range. I think the Flaylock, and again, don't forget, people are saying to me it's a sidearm, it should only do sidearm stuff. Bollocks, absolute bollocks, because the Minmatar suits are designed to use sidearms only. Remember that, they get the bonus only to sidearms, because the Minmatar SMG and the Flaylock are their primary weapons. Don't forget that, okay? Because that then means that, the Minmatar maybe they need to just change the Flaylock to have, I don't know, 2 shots, maybe, with a skill that gives you a 3rd, maybe. I don't know, something like that. I think they shouldn't kind of screw you over for using it if you put, 2 or 3 million skill points in it, but they should make it more role specific, which in my mind is kind of, I guess, to me it's a scouting weapon that does kind of high damage. I wouldn't say maybe only allow it to be fitted to the scouts. troll. But I don't know, it's a funny thing, I think, most guns at prototype level are pretty good, the most, if not all, I think, guns, even the Visium laser is pretty deadly. So I think it's difficult to say it's kind of needing just to be nerfed, because again, when you nerf something completely, nobody uses it, laser rifle, prime example, you kind of take a group of players out of the game. You don't take them out of the game, but you take them out of their comfort zone. They have to kind of adjust, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good thing. But I just feel that sometimes, things like the laser rifle was a bad call, because you don't want to nerf a gun to the point where nobody ever uses it again. if you should reward users for their skill of a gun. So there are some people out there who use assault rifles who are the most accurate people I've ever seen in my life, and they're rewarded because it's a good gun and they have the skill to use it. I think make the FLAY lock something that if you've still got the skill to use it, you could still get good kills from it. But anyway, that's true of any gun. I think maybe people will say the same about the laser rifle, but I mean, I always was brilliant with the laser rifle, if I don't mind saying myself. It was my gun before the FLAY lock. And yet, when Uprising came, the laser rifle just got slammed hard with the nerf pad. It just became awful. Terrible, terrible gun. Just give it the old laser rifle sights back and make it so you can see the beam. I'd be probably quite a happy chappy, to be honest. So there we go. I think, in general, I think as fittings go, I think there's some good, there's been some great changes, in fact, to 1.2. I think the mass driver is very good. I'm being told by everybody to get into the mass driver, the prototype mass driver. That is probably going to happen. We shall see how maybe that pans out. But I think also I would like to get into something like the mass driver. Because I did have a lot of fun with it in Chromosome, huge amount, but I stopped using it when I started using the laser rifle. So let's hope history's repeating here. Maybe if I start using the mass driver, the laser rifle will become good again. You never know. Hope springs eternal. I think in terms of any of the other weapons, I think there's some good stuff. Plasma cannon's pretty fun to use, but again, I wouldn't say it's terribly effective. Maybe that's a skill thing. Don't know yet. We'll keep trying. But I think things like the ARs are obviously very good. And I think some of the things like scrambler rifles are looking good. We will look at all of these weapons in due course. I just need the skill points to use them, I'm afraid. But there we go. I think that was a particularly good sort of summary, if you like, of some of the weaponry that's out there. I think also, I will look at other suits. I know I keep sticking with the Scout, but I love it. I miss it. If I didn't, I'd be gutted. So I think this is kind of the challenge of the game, is to find something you're comfortable with, but not stick with it too much. I know that I do run Scout a bit too much, so I will look to use other stuff. Starting to migrate away from the FLAY lock. I know I'm using it a lot at the moment in the events and stuff, but we'll eventually get there. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. I think this is we'll do some more fitting, I think, later in the series here. I think really what I'm just keen to show is that the fits are kind of evolving. So the addition of certain grenades, as the skill points come in, you can start to maybe tweak the fit slightly as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.